Hello everyone and welcome to today's webinar by Homeopathic Science Congress Society in collaboration with Sukul Institute of Homeopathic Research and Homeopathy 360. So Here I welcome you to the webinar day 2 of this webinar series on taking medicine into the space. That's an international webinar organized on advancement in homeopathy on the occasion of the death anniversary of Dr. B. Sahni sir. So we are through this webinar series, we want to pay homage to Dr. B. Sahni sir, who was a great homeopath and an inspiration for the homeopathic fraternity, and has done a lot for this fraternity, which cannot be talked in words. But yes, we have organized this series in the memory of his contribution to the field of homeopathy. So I welcome you to join this journey of extending homeopathy to achieve the target of ultimate medicine. So we are targeting through this webinar. This is what we are targeting, and I would like to welcome all the delegates as well as all our dignitaries and speakers of today. And I want to present my thanks to Mr. Manish Jain, the director of Vision Publishers, for giving us this platform to organize this webinar series, and we are glad that we could be a part. The Homeopathy 360 who could be the part of this webinar series through with the Homeopathic Science Congress Society, and we are very much thankful to Dr. M.K. Sahni sir. I can say only one thing about him, that he is. I have never met a person like him in my throughout my life, and especially in homeopathic fraternity. Such a kind person, such a down-to-earth person, and always there for everyone. He never says no to anybody. So I've never met such a person who has such a yielding disposition. So we are grateful to him as well as his whole team for organizing this webinar series. And we are also thankful to one of the speakers of the day, as well as one of the organizers of this webinar series, Sukul Institute of Homeopathic Research. And I think Dr. Sahni would be welcoming him, and I think he can only introduce him better. So I'm thankful to Dr. Sukul sir also, and everybody who have joined us, our chairpersons and co-chairpersons. So without wasting any more time, I just want to give a brief introduction about Homeopathy 360 and there was a technical issue, sir. So I just want to request everybody to please visit the website of Homeopathy 360, www.homeopathy360.com, and if you want to get your articles or research papers published, you can mail the same to us, and we'll be happy to help you as well as promote research papers and everything on our website to take homeopathy to another level. So now I welcome Dr. M.K. Sahni sir, who needs no introduction, and he's one of the organizers of this webinar series and inspiration for all the homeopaths. And also he has worked under Dr. B. Sahni sir, in whose memory we are organizing this webinar series, a recognized scientist and discoverer of transmission of medicine energy from a distance. As you all know, he is an achiever of so many awards, and he has presented a lot of papers internationally and nationally, and also got his articles and papers published in international and national peer-reviewed journals, and is also one of the author of Principles of Practice of Homeopathic Pharmacy book and many other publications. So here I welcome, and I want to hand over the session to him. Sir, over to you. Please proceed with the session further.
Thank you, Jessica, for your nice introductions and starting this session now. So today is the second day, and we are organizing this international webinar in memory of late Dr. B. Sahni, who devoted his life for the cause of the homeopathy by discovering, and we are remembering every year on his death anniversary and the birth anniversary both. This year we are very lucky that we are having a bigger platform, and big associations have joined. Sukul Institute of Homeopathic Research, Homeopathy 360, BJAN. So a big group is coming up and uniting to spread the message of learning. What I feel, Dr. Sani always wanted that learning is the only things that we can have, and that is only achievements for the life. So learning and serving is a joint phenomena that needs to be practiced throughout our life. So with this approach, this Homeopathic Science Congress Society was formed, and we have dedicated to it, and we want to propagate the message throughout the world. So with these introductions, I would like to, today we have very great speakers as well as our chairpersons and co-chairpersons. I welcome Dr. Cheramannan sir, the principal of Sahni Homeopathic Medical College. I welcome Dr. Jeetendra Kumar Singh, the principal at Kent Homeopathic Medical College. He is also the son of late Prasad, who was a leading practitioner in the district of Vaishali in Bihar. And I welcome Ma'am Marion-Kellner from Germany, who has very kindly consented and very politely. She was, every time I saw her face, I feel that she is just a devoted lady working for the cause of humanity. And then young fellow Dr. Anirban is the son of N.T. Sukul, the great warrior and great researcher from the Bharati University in West Bengal. And they have established that they have worked for the cause of the homeopathy. The learning is the only research is the only approach for their life. So with these things, I just we will start the sessions, and let me introduce our chairpersons, Dr. Cheramannan sir, who is a well-known doctor and practitioner, and as I told you that he is the principal at Sairam Homeopathic Medical College, a group of institutions, big institutions. If you go to the Sairam Institute, you will feel the system, how the education is getting on. And then he is also the recipient of the Best Teacher Award. Recently, he was awarded the Best Principal Award by the Mahendra Singh Memorial Award, very recently. And then wonderful things that he is carrying on is he has published e-books on the organ of medicines, which is linked with the YouTube, which is very wonderful contributions where the students are enjoying these things. And Dr. Cheramannan sir, I will request you to kindly make your chairman remarks on this occasion. Dr. Cheramannan sir, you are able to listen me, Chairman sir?
One second. Sir, please on your audio, Dr. Cheramannan sir. Thank you so much. Yes, sir. Please on your audio. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Please continue. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am Dr. B. Cheramannan, working as a principal in Sri Sai Ram Medical College, Chennai. It is a warm welcome to one and all gathering here. So, in this occasion, first I am very much thankful to our Dr. Sagani sir. It is a known world famous in homeopathy vision. So, for inviting me as a chairperson for this occasion. So, you already know about the today topic is the internet. There is a today topics are many. The what is the topic itself explained, or the heading itself explained the taking medicine into the space. So what Hanuman had dreamed about the term that come into the seminar, because we already discussed about the dynamic one. So till now it is not possible to prove. We can say in the philosophy that they mentioned about the Avogadro number and other things, but till now that is not able to prove Otherwise, till now there is no specific any investigation material is for that. Okay, so this is a very good topic. That is the heading is there. So I am very much thankful to that function organized by the Homeopathic Science Congress Society and Sukul Institute of Homeopathic Research in research. So thank you very much, sir. And also I am very much warm welcome to that Marion ma'am. The topic is the homeopathic treatment of traumatical women. And Anirban Sukul sir, that PhD sir. Topic is biological effects of ultra low doses known remedies. And Dr. Sanjiv Kumar Singh sir. Topic is the contribution of Dr. P. Sahni sir. And also I very warm welcome to Co-Chairman Dr. Jeetendra Kumar sir and our moderator Dr. Megha ma'am. Actually, we already know about the Sahni sir, and his father is a well-known physician. And also, we usually told in our place, we usually told this type of legend or this type of persons are not buried because they are only seeded. Yeah, buried means it is entirely the chapter is closed, but it is only seeded. So there are many offsprings are always arise due to that one. So hence I just a warm welcome to one and all, especially the Homeopathy and Jain group for arranging this webinar. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Cheramannan. You are always so pleasing to us, every time ready to support homeopathy. Now our co-chairman is Dr. Jeetendra Kumar. He is a principal at Kent Homeopathic Medical College, a leading institution in the district of in the Bihar state, and he is working for the cause of the homeopathy, and he is also a best propagator. And recently he was also awarded as the best organizer award by the Mahendra Singh Memorial Lecture Trust. Dr. Jeetendra Kumar is also the vice president at the Homeopathic Medical Association of India, and he is very young and every time sensitive to support others, and every time he is willing to propagate. He is also running a very good Kent Homeopathic Laboratory where good homeopathic medicines are manufactured and distributed. He is an educationist and he is also pharmaceutical research from the state of the Bihar. I welcome you, sir, and I request you to make your small brief message on this occasion. Please put on your mic, sir. You are not audible. Please, you can put on your mic. Your audio is off. You put on your audio.
सर सेंटर ऑफ द स्क्रीन में देखिए ऊपर आप ऑप्शन आ रहा होगा ऊपर ऑप्शन सेंटर ऑफ द स्क्रीन यस सर थैंक यू
okay.
Good afternoon everyone, sir. Respected our learned physician of homeopathy Dr. M.K. Sani sir, Chairperson Dr. Cheramannan sir, or Moderator Dr. Megha ji, and also respected Dr. Marion-Kellner, Germany, Dr. Anirban Sukul ji, and Dr. Sanjiv Kumar Singh. Sir, I am very grateful enjoying that we have to join this webinar to the bless of Dr. M.K. Sani and great bless to Dr. P. Sani sir. So on this occasion, I am thankful to the Homeopathic Science Congress Society for inviting me to be part of webinar organized on the occasion of its anniversary to legendary homeopathic former our state Bihar. Dr. B. Sani had shown a new path to the healing system of medicine and remind the sincerity, which is essential factor for practicing medicine. Dr. B. Sani contribution will be providing guidelines for every to those who serve the humanity. A man is born to serve the great message that we received from Dr. B. Sani. In present teaching of Dr. B. Sani is becoming more relevant in the background of remote sensing property being utilized in every walk of life. Homeopathic education need to incorporate the teaching of serving humanity as the basic subject of in curriculum. So I appreciate the contribution of Homeopathic Science Congress Society for spreading the message for learning and serving by organizing such webinar contribution, even under the most difficult time created by the pandemic COVID-19. Effort of the Homeopathic 360 and Sukul Institute of Homeopathy research and appreciate in joining hands to make the learning more appreciative as possible. A team spirit is observed in this joint organization of the Homeopathic Science Congress Society and Homeopathic 360 and Sukul Institute of Homeopathy. With these words, I pay my tribute to great soul of Dr. B. Sahni and appeal all to follow the path led by him. Especially, I want to say that a person who has born in this earth named Dr. B. Sahni, he has adventure. So he has started a new path to treat the patient by homeopathic medicine through the hair transmission. It is great research, and I pray to God in coming times, I pray to God this system will enhance, and all there are so many homeopathic practitioners I have to meet him, and or he is very successful to treat the patient. So that is now I can say thank you very much for this seminar and for the success of this webinar. Thank you, sir. Okay.
सर आपको ऑडियो ऑफ है सर ऑडियो ऑफ है सानी सर.
Thank you, Dr. Jeetendra ji, for your nice message and introductions for the seminar. Now we are going to start our webinar scientific session, and our first speaker is Mrs. Marion-Kellner from Germany, and I'm just delighted to know her biodata by going through her websites and the information that I have gathered. Marion-Kellner has been working as a psychotherapist since 2005. Initially, part of her work was the social pedagogy in the anti-violence area. She helped many people to free themselves from helpless situations and to build a new life for themselves. She grew up in Berlin and then living there only. Training in Gestalt therapy from Gestalt Institute, approval to practice medicine according to the limited field of the psychotherapy. Her work is as a psychotherapist, and she had a training in classical homeopathy at the International School of Classical Homeopathy in Belgium. He also got training in the classical homeopathy from the campus Naturalist Berlin, and then also from Farooq Master from Mumbai in India. She had done her two-year postgraduate course for homeopath on constitutional prescribing by Subrata Banerjee, Ellen's College of Homeopathy in England. And further training series with the hypoanalytical part work with trauma-associated disorder at JAP Center for Applied Psychotraumatology in Vienna. Alison Miller treat mind control and ritual violence effectively and effectively at the Villa in Stuttgart. Further training she got with the diagnosis of treatment of chronic trauma-related dissociated of the personality at the Hamburg. So much working for the cause of the disability and for the cause of the distressed people and helping right from her core of her heart. So, Madam, I welcome you in this webinar series, and I request you to start your presentations on your topic today. Over to Dr. Marion-Kellner, ma'am.
Thank you very much for your invitation to this seminar, and that I can present my paper here. Because the situation for the people who are traumatized, it's my life theme, you can say. It's my really favorite theme to work with. And I got so many good results or awesome results to combine psychotherapy with the classical homeopathy. So this is really like a wonder for me. So I like to share the things. Okay, can you see the slides?
Yes, ma'am. It's visible.
Okay, thank you very much. Before I going into the subject of homeopathic treatment, I would like to start with an overview about the violence against women, because I mostly work with women who had sexual trauma, like a rape or any other kind of violence. According to the World Health Organization, WHO, around the world, 1/3 of all women experience physical or sexual violence. And the WHO emphasizes that not only women in developing countries or in poor social classes are affected, like most of the people are thinking, but also economically independent women or even old women, where you never expect that they really experience some sexual violence. The biggest European study about violence against women, conducted from the European Union Agency for Fundamental Rights, shows that 1 of 3 women experienced physical or sexual violence since the age of 15. These are 62 million of women living only in the European countries, or even not all the European countries, only in the countries of the European Union. 62 million. Yeah, so you can imagine how it is in all over the world. 1 of 5 women have been stalked from their ex-partners or other men. And every second woman made the experience of being molested. The German Federal Ministry of Family, Senior Citizens, Women and Youth conducted 2004 a representative study about violence against women with the following results. 40% of the women in Germany experienced physical and/or sexual violence since the age of 16. This is nearly half of all women in Germany. 25% of the women in Germany experience domestic violence from their partners or ex-partners. 13% of the women in Germany experienced a prosecutably relevant kind of sexual violence. This is actually a very less number. And this is related to the law in Germany, because the law was very, very strict. Only a rape where additional violence was being used was rape, you can get to the court, bring to the court. So this was, that's why the number is very less. It's only 13%, but there was a change in law in 2017, and I think now it will be much higher, the number. Yeah, and 42% of the women experienced psychological violence like intimidation, defamation, threats, psychological blackmail, etc. And we know that actually the psychological violence even led more wounds than the physical one, because the injuries of the physical violence, they disappear after some time normally. And what stays for lifetime are the psychological effects of the violence. According to her personality, every woman can react different after a rape. Most of the women feel fear or a feeling of helplessness, indignity, or a feeling of being contaminated or under shock. The trust in herself and in the world is distressed. The belief in the feeling of being secure is impaired. So most of the survivors feeling ashamed and guilty. Some women react as if nothing has happened. A very important safety mechanism of the psyche to overcome this shock. And people often think, oh, when she is reacting as nothing has happened, then it can't be so difficult for her. But this is not true. So you need to know about the effects of psychological trauma to understand this reaction. The traumatic effects of a rape are similar to those after a kidnapping or a natural catastrophe. Directly after a rape, most of the women are in a state of shock, and they seem to be disorientated and incapable of action. The apperception can be restricted as well as the capability of concentration, and the general functionality can be reduced. Others look very calm, nearly untouched, or over-controlled. All of these are defense mechanisms of the psyche. Same may be irritated, angry, or aggressive, or anxious, or in despair. A lot of women withdraw from others and want to be alone, and even for maybe a very long time, over years or months. Besides hyperarousal, nervousness, feeling frightened, irritability, fear, and emotional numbness are intrusions which are frequent re-experiencing of the trauma in form of flashbacks, and avoidance, typical effects of a traumatization. All effects of extremely stressing trauma experiences are normal reaction to abnormal events. Nevertheless, a lot of raped women have the feeling of going mad due to the strong post-traumatic symptoms. The long-term effects of sexual violence are the following: impaired self-confidence and an unstable sense of identity, chronic feelings of shame and guilty feelings, a lot of different fears, depression and sometimes suicidality, dissociative disorders, and dissociation of feelings. Psychosomatic symptoms, a negative relation to the own body, a lot of self-injuries to get rid of this pressure, addictions, that can be alcohol or pills or even drugs, problems in living sexual relationship, and also in general relationship problems. Which I already mentioned, is a social withdrawal or even isolations because they don't trust anybody anymore. An inimical, mistrusting approach to the world and most of other people, or sometimes maybe to all people. A chronic feeling of emptiness and helplessness, and economical problems because a lot of women can't go to work anymore because of these very severe post-traumatic symptoms. Or maybe they have to change the home because they don't feel comfortable anymore when the rape was taking place in the home. Or they have to pay a lot of therapy cost to heal from the post-traumatic symptoms. Now I will come to the homeopathic treatment of effects of acute trauma. So when the trauma just take place now or in the last weeks, then you can first see in the acute phase of a shock, there is a disorientation and reduction of attention. And any an additional stimulus can't be digested. The affected person is restlessness, or maybe also like frozen inside. And very typical is also the so-called speechless terror, the incapability to talk about the traumatic experience. Besides this, there is an excessive vegetative reaction with tachycardia, sweating, a red or pale face, or nausea. A lot of people experience changing of moods and a rapid change between grief, anger, and apathy, and withdrawal from their social environment. Later, the post-traumatic processing of the stress leads to intrusions like flashbacks or nightmares, which are accompanied from emotional reactions and fear. The affected persons show a general hyperarousal with inattention and a hyperattention for external stimuli, feeling of being frightened, irritability, sleeping disorders. Further, there can be a fear of persons, places, things or situations which remind on the traumatic experience. For this reason, these triggers are mostly avoided. And women with an acute traumatic reaction need mostly aconite in order to come in balance again and to digest the traumatic experience. Aconite helps good against the panic and the nightmares. Women who feel themselves like frozen inside and who are apathic and withdraw from social life responds very good to opium. They show the symptoms of a hypoarousal and physical anesthesia. So aconite is one of the, I would say, most important remedy for acute trauma. There are others too you can use, but aconite would be the first choice when the symptoms are matching. Stormy influences from outside as a causal factor. Then tension on a mental, emotional, and physical plane. Effects of terror, shock, and anger. Extreme tremor with strong restlessness, which is not better by changing the position. Agonizing fear of death. Phobias after shock. Anxiety states. Sleeplessness with anxiety and restlessness. Nightmares with dyspnea. Symptoms of aconite match the symptoms of the traumatic hyperarousal the best. Opium is the best choice for the hypoarousal states of traumatic stress, which is emotional numbness after a traumatic experience. Dissociation as a psychological protective mechanism of the psyche, and the pain is not felt in order to survive. In acute trauma, when there are symptoms of avoidance, hypoarousal, and intrusions. Effects of terror, fear, anger, and shame. And sweat is a concomitant very often. fearfulness and nervousness, a lot of dreams and fantasies, even in daytime, but also terrifying fantasies, insensitiveness, numbness and apathy, withdrawal, aversion to company and other people. The sensation of a wall between themselves and others, avoidance of feelings and memories which comes up in nightmares, irritability and changing of moods. But of course, it is more effective, this you know very better than me, I think, if you can find a constitutional remedy, especially when it is come chronicle. So women with a post-traumatic stress disorder mostly come with different emotional, mental and physical symptoms to the homeopathic treatment. And in this condition, we have to find the right constitutional remedy in order to heal these women. Below, I introduce 2 cases of sexual traumatized women who got very much relief from their post-traumatic stress disorder by the homeopathic treatment. So one is the case of a 20-years old student, and the case taking was in January 2015. In her childhood, she was sexually abused from her father for several years. And additionally, in 2014, she was raped. So she developed a post-traumatic stress disorder with the typical symptoms. And since the age of 18, she is suffering from migraine with flickering of the left eye during the aura and numbness of the tongue. The migraine is worse before menses. She feels tension in the whole body, which is most worse in the cervical region. Her posture is like a shell with pulled up shoulders. The migraine is worse before menses. She feels tension in the whole body, which is most worse in the... Oh, this is... Sorry. She's depressive with a lacking in motivation and has a low self-confidence. She thinks that she is never good enough. She has always a fear to fail, so that she feels often blocked in her studies. She has a feeling of powerlessness and can't handle the dominating behavior by others. And she has a very helping nature and feels too much responsible for others. She often has a guilty conscience. She feels often worried about her future and broods if she can finish her study or not. And she has a strong fear of loss and thinks that nobody can love her because she is not worth for it. She has a lot of nightmares too. So you can see the repertorization I did, and it's grief, silent, ailments from abuse after being sexually, ailments from fright, ailments from anticipation, fear, failure of, forsaken feeling, beloved by his parents, fear, waking on dream from a, flickering headache before, numbness of the tongue, and pain menses before, aggravation. And you can see the only remedy which is totally through is Netmore. So I started with a Natrium muriaticum 30C, and she got much better in general, but also on the emotional level. And before taking the remedy, she had at least 1 or 2 times a week a severe migraine. And now the migraine came very seldom and was ameliorated immediately after a dose of Netmore. In the course of treatment, old symptoms like vaginal fungal infections and cystitis occurs, but was healed with the dose of Netmore. So here you can see it's really good that the old symptoms came up, and we could heal it with the constitutional remedy too. In April 2015, she underwent an intense grieving process with a lot of weeping. Since many years, she was not able to cry before that. So that was really also a good cleaning process, not only for the body, but also for the mind and the emotions. After taking natrium, she faced up with family and confronted the family members for the first time with the sexual abuse by her father. Her psychotherapist supports her in this healing process. In June 2015, she developed severe anxiety states after a female friend of her was hugging her too tight so that she felt fixed in her arms. So the flashbacks came up with this situation because this worked as a trigger for her. A lot of flashbacks, this I told you already. After taking one more dose of Netmore 30C, the anxiety in the flashbacks disappeared and she found back her emotional balance. So you can see I didn't go very high. No? I started with a 30C and it worked really wonderful with symptoms which were there also for a long time. But after some time again, the old symptoms occurred, and itching of the scalp and red, itching, painful, unbearable neurodermatitis on the neck accompanied by negative emotions. She had neurodermatitis in her childhood, and now also she's feeling like a child. She said, I'm a child again and my mother is angry with me because I have neurodermatitis. In her eyes, I was a stressful child because she couldn't control the neurodermatitis and had to go to doctor with me very often. I was feeling forsaken, disorientated and alone. Properly, I was feeling not well, but I couldn't tell it to my mother because she was so angry with me. Actually, I wanted her to take me in her arms and to comfort me, but with all the rash on my body, I felt myself not beautiful and not lovable. After another dose of Natrum, the neurodermatitis was much better and vanished totally after some days. Shortly before finishing her bachelor thesis, she got again very depressive thoughts. The healing weeping was finished and she got again a numb feeling that something is very bad. She has a fear of failure in her studies, a feeling of mental overload, difficulties of falling asleep, and a lack of motivation. Natrum stabilized her again. Additionally, she worked with her therapist on the fact that she is afraid to finish her studies successfully because she is worried about to be in competition with her mother. This fact, she just realized right now. Natrum in different potencies stabilized her very much. And the course of the healing process, you could see easily an occurring of the suppressed old symptoms which vanished with Netmore. The processing of the experience of sexual violence and other bad experience in her childhood was initiated with a Netmore and accompanied with a psychotherapy. The post-traumatic symptoms were also healed with the constitutional remedy. Now I want to show you a second case. This is a case of a 33-year-old German Kurdish woman, German mother, Kurdish father. And the case taking was on the 22nd of December 2014. As a child, she was sexually abused by her aunt. Since then, she couldn't experience any sexual relationship. And she is extremely mistrusting everybody. So she's a very controlled person who never shows any feelings openly. And her biggest fear was also that someone could see her fear. So she wants to hide this. And since summer 2014, she feels extremely tired and sleepy. And she slept also many, many hours in the afternoon. And because of her depression, she took since 3 months an antidepressant, which didn't bring any relief until the time of the case taking. She has a strong sensation that she never reached on this earth, and she feels ashamed and criticizes herself because she sees herself as a traumatized victim. She thinks that actually she didn't suffer enough to claim this label for herself. This is also very typical for trauma victims, that on the one side, they are suffering a lot from their experience, but on the other side, they always believe that it didn't take place, or maybe it was not severe enough, it was not bad enough. And this is also a defense mechanism, so that they don't have to feel all the feelings which are coming up when they really realize what happened to them. Until 1 year ago, she never evaluated the sexual abuse as violence and as a crime. Only since 1 year, this is totally different. On the other hand, she's very angry that nobody can see her suffering also. She wants that her family recognizes what she had gone through. But everybody just sees her as a power woman. But this is only one side of her. When she was 16 years old, she left her parents' home. 5 years ago, she went back and lives again with her parents. She feels very ashamed because she wants to live independent, but she was not able to. She felt abandoned emotionally from her mother in very early years. That is why she felt she never reached the earth, and that made it difficult for her to be in real contact with other people. She calls it symbiosis trauma, contact trauma, or relationship trauma. Her mother used her as a partner substitute on the emotional plane. She still feels emotionally abused by her mother until nowadays. And she never felt accepted by anyone with her feelings. That is why she suppresses her feelings so that nobody can see it also and hurt her again. She's very afraid to be at the mercy of someone, or that the person could utilize her. She doesn't feel secure in her parents' home. She's very afraid of her father when he comes next to her, although he never sexually abused her. But from the rest of the world, she's much more afraid. She feels ashamed that she needs her parents in her age. Because in Germany, it's usual that the children leave the home of the parents when they are 18 years old. Yeah, it's not like in India that families live together. So most of the children, when they are 18 or 19, they leave the home. And she even came back to her home in this age. So this produces so much shame in her. She wants to create her own space. She wants to go into the world to make her experiences, and she wants to be seen. But she is not to be able to do the first steps in this direction. She has difficulties to fall asleep, and her sleep-wake cycle is very disturbed. The inner restlessness is, especially in the evening and in the night, very high. In the night she is awake, and in the daytime she is sleeping. She distracts herself until she can fall asleep. Even already as a baby, she had difficulties to fall asleep and was crying very much. She is suffering from existential fear and is afraid to be poor. I gave her lacumanum in LM6 potency and started on the 21st January 2015 with this remedy. In this case, I didn't do the repertorization, which I normally do, but when she was telling me her story, this remedy came to my mind because she had not the feeling that she came into this world. She didn't reach this world. So this reminds me to the remedy of lacumanum, and I want to present you some of the symptoms Philip Bailey described in his book, which are matching very good with the symptoms of this patient. This is the lack of maternal caring, then the unsatisfactory connection with the mother, the forsaking feeling, and unable to accept the love which is given by others. And she is struggling for survival as a subject. Never feels secure, and every challenge feels to be life-threatening, which is of course related to the trauma she experienced with the sexual abuse. And the mistrust. Nobody is trustworthy. Nobody helps me. If I want to survive, I only can trust myself. This is a feeling of lacumanum. Feeling totally alone in a foreign world, feeling of alienation. Feels herself abandoned by friends and family. Want of independence. Emotionally intense, needy, dominant, oversensitive against rejection. Perfectionist, codependence, and difficult relationship to the mother. Often a cold, unreachable mother, efforts to gain the love of the mother. And the tendency for rebellion is close connected with the awareness of being a victim. She can't bear injustice. A needy and dominant mother teaches the child to feel responsible for the feelings of others. In such families, the child learns that it is cruel if it doesn't fulfill the needs for attention of the mother. The child learns that she has to deny its own needs and has to take care for the needs and emotions of others. Otherwise, the child will be rejected by the mother. And this was exactly the, you can say, the dynamic between mother and daughter in this case also. She revolts against male authorities and also has a clearly feminist attitude. Overreactive against the smallest lack of sensitivity. Resentment against the mother because she was not caring for her or emotionally abused her. The father doesn't play a big role in her life, and very often men are seen as useless, insensitive, immature, or threatening. She hides a lot of grief behind her smile. And she sees herself as a victim and is insulting family members, especially the mother, because they betrayed her. If a newborn can't get a connection to the mother, then it feels to be like in a no man's land. This feeling of a gap and separation leads to the feeling of being abandoned, of not belonging to this world. Ambivalence is a keynote of this remedy. And she doesn't feel a ground under her feet. Sometimes she feels disconnected from her body too. Tendency to not finish her tasks. The first follow-up was on the 26th of March in 2015. So she said, last night I had a dream. I was dreaming that I was about to deliver a child. There was no pregnancy before, so I felt very unprepared for the birth. And during this process of delivery, I suddenly got some small pieces of glass into my eyes, so that my eyes started bleeding. There were nurses around me who were caring for me. Suddenly, someone told me that I'm in a process of divorce. I was not married, but someone would divorce from me now. The pain was in extreme, the delivery, the bleeding eyes, becoming abandoned from whoever. After this, I was crawling on my hands and knees to my previous kindergarten. I wanted to go to my mother, who was supposed to be there, but only my father was there. As I asked him where my mother was, he said that she is not there. I was turning around, didn't listen to his further explanations. I was deeply disappointed and disillusioned. I think in this dream she was really doing the process of of her birth actually, and she got something like a relief, and she came to this earth. I think this is how I interpretate this dream. She found an own flat and will shift there soon. This is really amazing, no? Because after 5 years, she couldn't go out of the home of her parents. And now, after 2 months with the remedy, she really found a home for herself. And her fears also reduced very much. And just now they become more again, because she will take a big step to live alone, and of course then a lot of fears raised up also, if she can if she's able to do this or not. And also the separation from the parents was also a big topic for her, so a lot of fears arising up at this time also. But because Lac Humanum worked so well, I told her to continue with the Lac Humanum LM12. Then the next follow-up was on the 26th of May, and meanwhile she shifted in her own flat. The remedy helped her in removing her blockage to move out from her parents' home, and her fears became much less now. Her parents wanted to finance her apartment, and first she thought, oh, I should agree, because she had no money also. But then she took all her courage and refused this offer, so that she can feel more independent from her parents. And in Germany, you get the rent from the job center, which is something, you can say, like a social center. And they pay the rent and also the money for the livelihood. This is very less money, but you can survive from this. She feels so very much happy to be independent from her parents and stay in her own apartment. After taking the remedy, she started crying and to express the long hidden grief. She could grieve for everything she never had and what she lost. She found a psychotherapist to work on her past experiences. Depression became less, so that she now wants to wean off the antidepressant with the support of her psychiatrist. Her addiction for sugar and cigarettes could be reduced very, very much. And she doesn't watch TV anymore, what she did the whole day before. Nowadays, a lot of different feelings comes up, and she tries to handle this together with a psychotherapist instead of suppressing her feelings. After a dietary change, she lost 10 kg of weight. She started doing sports, and she came out of the stagnation and feeling alive. But sometimes she also feels restless. Until now, she took lacumanum in different LM potencies, and she's quite stabilized now and really stopped taking these the antidepressants, which was really a very big success. And right now, she feels stable enough to search for a job. Okay, this was the presentation. These are the two cases I wanted to show you, that how you can treat even severe post-traumatic stress disorders very, very good with the right constitutional remedy. And even in the acute cases, you can give aconite, opium, or other remedies who take off all the panic attacks and the different feelings which came up in the first stage of the shock. Okay, I think I will go through the chat because I couldn't do this during the presentation. I'm sorry for this. Do I have time or not?
We will come back with the chat just after the end of the session. At that time, we'll take up the questions from the participants.
Yes, but I have to go out in 8 minutes, you know.
Okay, so you can see the chat right now.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Natalie Ho asked, may I know for patient depressed after trauma since that issue, patient can't walk out from that issue till need under the antidepressant medication, which is diagnosed as MDD, very struggling in life, mind symptoms affected very much, very stubborn patient, negative thinking, can't accept people advice, keep on telling that nobody understands her. Can ma'am give some advice on it? Oh, actually, I think you know that it's very, very necessary to take to make a good case taking in these mental disorders. I do case taking at least 2 hours. So I'm not able to give the advice in a short form because there are so many things we have to check before we have to give the remedy, because it's good when we are starting in the beginning with the right remedy and not just trying the things. No? For this, we have to really think good about the remedy. So I'm sorry I can't tell this right now. I can share the notes. Yes, I can do this. Okay.
No other questions, ma'am. Only these 2 questions were there.
Yeah. Okay. Then it's fine. Okay. So I think I can I can send you the PDF of the presentation, Dr. Sani, when you can share it.
Yeah.
Sure, ma'am. Sure. Thank you so much. So that's so sweet of you because there are very less people who share their presentation with the for the like so that people can gain knowledge. Thank you so much, ma'am. There are 2 more questions. Yes. We can there are short questions only. Like which software you use, ma'am?
I
and
Radar.
Radar Opus.
Yes.
Yeah. Good.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. And Dr. Hetal wants to know, in how many months after treatment do you expect result in chronic deep-seated traumatized conditions?
This you can't say actually, because it depends on so many different things. It depends on how much miasm are involved also. and how much resilience factors are there, how much support they have from their environment, and how how much they want to go really to digest this and do something. A lot of traumatized people really don't want to go forward because the feelings which are coming up in this process are very, very difficult to handle. So it depends on so many things, you can't say, but sometimes you can get relief even in the first day after giving the remedies in some aspects. And sometimes it takes 2, 3, sometimes 4, 5 months until you can get the first results that you feel, oh, it's going further. So you need a lot of patience with these kind of post-traumatic stress disorders when they are chronized, you know. But if you have the right remedy and there is a good, the factors are good, you even can get the results in very short time also.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such a wonderful explanation. I hope the query of Dr. Hetal is sorted. We are really thankful to ma'am for her contribution to the webinar, and it was such a great presentation and great, so nice, nicely presented cases that all the audience enjoyed. I hope they got to learn a lot because we are getting so many compliments for you. Also, there was a compliment, ma'am, that you are looking very pretty from Dr. Neetu Arora. She commented that very pretty. So thank you so much, ma'am, for your contribution. Because like in your very busy schedule, also you took out time to guide the students. That's so sweet of you. Thank you, Dr. Sani. You want to say something?
What I see among the two cases that you have presented, you have shown the perseverance and waiting for the single medicines to work. This is the most classical things that you have demonstrated to the audience, and I hope that people will learn to develop the patience and courage to wait and watch till the medicines act. This is great things that you have demonstrated through these cases of the traumatized cases. Even in such a problem when there is no such acute pain is there, but that situation, psychology, you have to wait and watch. And if you can learn these things, everything homeopathy can be experienced in a better way. So thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
For your very nice.
I learned from Professor Dr. Vitulkas, where I studied in Greece. So he really has a lot of patience to watch and wait and be careful with the reaction to the remedies.
Yeah.
I thank you that I could join this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
And
I
have to leave because now I have.
No, I understand. And thank you for giving such a good time for us.
Thank you.
Okay.
So I will press the red button with the telephone to leave.
No, ma'am. Don't press the red button. Just close your window. Just close your window. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. So,
sir, we can proceed further. Yes, sir.
So now it is time to listen a great researcher who is also the son of a researcher. And he is none other than Dr. Anirban Sukul, the son of Dr. MC Sukul, who has done and contributed towards the efficacy and bringing the homeopathy, understanding about the homeopathy. Dr. Anirban Sukul completed his PhD from Vishwabharati University in India and research associateship from the same university. He studied homeopathy later on, and presently he is director of the Sukul Institute of Homeopathic Research at Kolkata, India. He has published 21 papers in international journal, peer-reviewed journal, and authored a book published by Lunar Academic Publishers. The Netherlands. He has lectured on homeopathy in 16 countries across Asia, Europe, UK, and USA. He is conferred with the Junior Scientist Award, Lifetime Achievement Award, Gold Medal Award, UK, and Man of Excellence Award, etc. from abroad. Dr. Sukul is also a member of the research committee Liga Medicorum Homeopathica Internationalis LMHI, Germany. He has a lot of interest in the research work. He has done neuropharmacology in homeopathy, effect of neurotransmitter drugs on experimental catalepsy in mice. He has worked on alcoholism, anti-alcoholic effects of few homeopathic drugs on the loss of right reflex things. Then he had electronic and NMR spectra of few homeopathic drugs. He had tested an anti-alcoholic drug on plant origin on voluntary ethanol intake in rats. Anti-alcoholic drugs of plant origin on alcohol-induced loss of writing a reflex in tadpoles towards and mice. So many research activities are there, and today we are going to listen his contributions and his effects, and it will be a great listening from a great scholar of the homeopathy. So welcome, Dr. Sukul, and I request you to start your presentations.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sahni, and a very good afternoon to all of you. First, I'd like to thank the organizer and especially Dr. Sahni for organizing such a wonderful seminar in 2 phases in 2 and 3 days. So there are part 1 that have been done already, I think on 15th, and the second one, it started from 28th, yesterday. So this has been a 3 days program again, and it's a webinar. Dr. Sahni has been fantastic of doing such things while we have been experiencing such a pandemic in a bad shape of a life, changed everything. But Dr. Sani, I have been a humble follower of him. He has been so respected in homeopathic administration, and Dr. B. Sahni, who has introduced homeopathy in a different way, treating with hairs in terms of homeopathic medicines. So I have been to his clinic for some time in Dr. Sani in Patna, and I have learned a lot, and still will be learning from him. I hope so. So today's my topic is towards morely on the research. Of course, homeopathy cannot be with some clinical aspects, so I'll be presenting some clinical success of my homeopathic medicines. And Sukul Institute, as a co-organizer of this webinar, has been established by my father, Professor Nirmal-Chandra Sukul, in the year 2000 in Shantiniketan, West Bengal. So my father, who is a retired professor now and also the ex-dean in the Faculty of Science in Vishwabharati University, who has established this institute, and now we have researchers. So we collaborate with other research institutes, we collaborate with universities using their sophisticated labs, and we get out of those some good experiments, some good contribution as far as this homeopathic science is concerned. We have publications in international journals, mostly or mainly they're on the evidence-based or laboratory-based work with the homeopathic medicines. So we have instruments in our laboratory in Sukul Institute. Also, we definitely collaborate with Vishwabharati University. We have a good access with the Department of Botany. My wife, Dr. Soma Sukul, who is currently the associate professor in this university in the Vishwabharati University in the Department of Botany. So she is also engaged to the science of the scientific work of Sukul Institute. So we have a good access. What I try to say is that we have a good access to very sophisticated modern instruments with these universities and of course research institute like Bose Institute in Kolkata. So I now go to the PowerPoint presentation. So I may be invisible. I don't know what I will be. Is this presentation be visible?
Not yet, sir. Please share your screen.
Okay.
Sir, it's again gone. Please share again.
Is it?
Yeah, it is visible. Just go to the PowerPoint now in your computer. Yes, sir. You can
Okay.
on the slideshow and it's visible absolutely.
Fine, thank you. So the topic today is the biological effects of ultra low doses. So as I introduce myself, as very nicely Dr. Sahni has made it already, but just a brief addition to it is that I am the director also in the Sukul Institute of Homeopathic Research, and I am the visiting physicians in 2 countries like Republic of Philippines and Thailand. I'm also the honorary physician there at the Ministry of Public Health in Thailand. So more importantly, Sukul Institute publishes the international peer-reviewed online journal known as Clinical and Experimental Homeopathy. So I being the editor of this journal, and I'm also in the board of editors in some other journals which are nowhere related with the homeopathic science. This does mean that it's a pure integration. I think it's a proper integration of homeopathy and science, because they have hired such a person who has the background of science and homeopathy as well. So I'm also in the Journal of Neurodegenerative Disease and Disorder, published from United States, Journal of Pulmonology and Clinical Research, London, and especially this journal has been very popular because of such pandemic, the pulmonological effects of COVID. Epidemiology also being as an important journal nowadays. It's published from United States, Journal of Phytochemistry and Biochemistry, US again, and Journal of Microbiology and Biotechnology reports from London. So right onto the experiment is that the writing reflex model. Now, what is writing reflex? You see, we are sitting properly in a proper posture. Maybe we are standing, maybe we are sitting sometimes. So this normal posture of any animal or any human is being corrected by some process which is known as writing reflex. So once our writing reflex is correct, it does mean that we are in a correct or normal posture of what we are trying to or what are we willing to. And if we lose our writing reflex, we will lose the normal erect posture. So this is spatially being maintained by the nuclei of the midbrain. In order to do some experiments with the homeopathic medicines, we have to have the symptoms first. So what we did, we produced the loss of writing reflex in animal, in mice. Some common symptom of loss of writing reflex is that when you are walking, you will tend to fall, or if your writing reflex is totally lost, you will be fallen or will be lying on the streets or lying on the floor. So this has been achieved by a mouse by injecting ethanol intraperitoneally. ethanol is known to, or overdose, or the toxic effect of ethanol is similar with the loss of writing reflex. So toxic effect of an overdose of ethanol produces some imbalanced walk, some double vision, and if it is totally lost, the writing reflexes, the overdose or toxic effect of alcohol will drive the human being to fall on the lie on the street. So that is the total loss of the writing reflex. So exactly we did the same. So we injected the ethanol intraperitoneally to mice, in the batch of mice, and we have experiment with Nux vomica, as Nux vomica is thought or can be the drug of choice for anti-alcoholics. So we injected first. This is how we injected first, and then through the oral route, through the micropipette that exactly you are now seeing is sensitized form. You can see that alcohol and how long this a mouse is remained on the loss of writing reflex posture or remained in the lying posture is the sleep time. So this is called the sleep time. It can be few minutes, 2 minutes for a mouse, can be 3 minutes for the other. So as the individual changes, the sleep time changes because of how the mouse is tolerant to the alcohol. So this is exactly. So you can see on your left is the alcohol only. So there has been no treatment with Nux vomica. So only ethanol injection has been given, and you can see that 75 minutes, nearly 75 minutes, the duration of sleep time was. So on the lying posture, it was there until 75 minutes. While treating the same mice, the same batch of mice with the Nux 130, you can see there is a significant difference in reducing the sleep time. So which has been statistically significant in man-Whitney test. This is, as we know, that's homeopathy, that's the conventional method of preparing homeopathic medicine is the aqueous ethanol. So there should be the 89% ethanol and 11% or 10 to 11% of water, distilled water. So it is in aqueous ethanol. We have produced Nux vomica in the proper or the conventional method with aqueous ethanol. We have produced with pure ethanol. We have also produced Nux vomica with pure water. So there are three kinds, you can see. Now here comes the control. There is no proper way, the method of preparation, and you can see there is almost cut-off time. It is nearly 100 minutes of sleep time of the batch of mice. And next comes to the treatment with 90% ethanol. So that is aqueous ethanol, the exact way the homeopathic medicines are being produced. So there comes the maximum reduction in the sleep time. And while the Nux foam is prepared with pure water only, it doesn't give that much of effect, and it is almost with the level of the control and almost similar in case of the pure ethanol. So there is no such significant reduction while it is being used or prepared with pure water or pure ethanol. So it also proves that homeopathy medicines only works, or the maximum effect you will get while it is being prepared with aqueous ethanol. And also it proves that Nux foam has significant effect on the reduction of the sleep time treating with the ethanol injection of albino mice. This is some in terms of a reverse way of the alcohol tolerance. I'm not going into the detail because you see effects of alcohol intake in toads. So this is the control. This one. So this is something more. I think there are four parameters of Nux vomica has been used. One giving IP injection, one oral, Nux from 30 oral route, Nux from 1000. So this is a bit different, so I'm not discussing some details in everything. So with this experiment, we can conclude that Nux vomica is a drug of choice for ethanol. It's been known already for that we knew that Nux vomica is drug of choice. But this is how we have demonstrated that Nux vomica is has the anti-alcoholic effects in animals. We now shift to the other experiment, is the effect of Rustox and causticum on rat adjuvant arthritis. So this is how you see that, as I told you, that in order to do some experiments with the homeopathic medicines, we have to have the symptoms first. And because the animals are not able to tell you the symptoms, so we have to produce or create symptoms to have experiments with homeopathic medicines. On the extreme left, you will see this is a normal hind paw of a mouse or a rat. And this is a swollen, extremely swollen, and these are so on. So in these experiments, what we did to have the symptoms, first we injected the Friand's adjuvant to the hind paw of the mouse, of each mouse, or in case of here it is rats. Friand adjuvant is known to produce the similar sort of symptoms which are there in arthritis. So we will not be able to find the arthritic rats, but we can create the arthritic-like symptoms in rats. So what this exactly the Friand's adjuvant does. What it does, it inflames. You see the inflammation here, and once it is inflamed, it will create a pain. So there are two major symptoms you will get here, which are similar or exactly similar in case of arthritis of human. So on the extreme left, there are no injection, no creation of symptoms with the Friand's adjuvant. And of course, there is no treatment with causticum and Rustox. We choose causticum and Rustox because this is known to have a potential effect on the arthritis. We know already, but this is the way we are demonstrating here that yes, causticum and Rustox have arthritic effects on rats. LIU is the left hind paw is being injected but untreated. So there is no treatment of causticum or Rustox, but there is only the injection of Friand adjuvant to produce the maximum effect of arthritis. This is LIC. This is the hind paw is being injected with Friand's adjuvant and treated with causticum. I just check once again that am I audible? Hello. Am I audible?
Sir, yes, sir. Audible, okay. Sir. Audible.
So this is with the causticum injection, and you can see there is inflammation is reduced here, and left hind paw is injected with Friand adjuvant and then treated with Rustox. You can see there is there are better result here with treating causticum, and right paw, hind paw is injected and treated with causticum. We know in homeopathy there are laturities, there are medicines that are better working on the left side of our body, and there are more on the right side of our body. Causticum is known to have better effect on the right side, while Rustox is being on the left. So you can see this is being it's a left hind paw and Rustox is treated. You can see if you compare, just see this, you'll have a better inflammation is better now. And Rustox is causticum here on the right side. Now here comes the results. You see the median volume of pore in microliter. So this how, because until now we have been seeing with the slides and seeing the inflammation, how it is inflamed. But to produce any scientific results, you have to produce the data. So what we did, we marked a hind paw with a marker and dipped it in a filled beaker, which is placed inside a measuring cylinder. So the water will be coming out after dipping the hind paw, will be automatically measured with the measuring cylinder. With the volume of the water, we can measure the volume of the inflammation. So this is what exactly. And you can see on the left, extreme left, it is UU. There is no treatment and no free adjuvant. So this is exactly the normal hind paw, and 800 is the volume. And next to it is the maximum inflammation is here, because no treatment has been given here, only the free adjuvant injection. And next to it is the causticum on the left hind paw, treated left hind paw, now here treated with Rustox, and right hind paw treated with causticum. Here you can see again that Rustox on the left is more effective, causticum also, while right is the more effective, but not on the left that much. So this how we measured the inflammation of the hind paws. Now there are another common symptom is the pain. Exactly the reason when the patients come to us is due to the pain, unbearable pain. So the pain is being measured by open field test. So pain is a feeling, but we have to measure it to produce in scientific journals. So we measured this pain through open field activity test. What is exactly? You see, it's a enamel tray here, and this tray is being marked with squares. It's a checkerboard fashion. And a mouse, or the rat, is being placed here. So by just putting it still, a mouse is being placed here, and mouse, once the mouse will be placed, it will start moving. So it will move one cross, then another cross, then another. So we will count that how in 300 seconds, how many crosses this mouse is being traversed, or it can able to traverse. So this cross we will count. This cross will be result, or will be the result of the pain. So the more the pain, they will be less movable and will traverse the less cross. Less the pain, it will move more faster, and it will cross more traverse more crosses. So this is exactly the terms of the pain, how we could measure, and you can see the results here. This is the normal mouse, exactly, absolutely normal mouse. So it can traverse maximum squares here, and you can see this is the maximum pain is here, because no treatment has been given. So there is least movement, the minimal movement, and this has been treated with causticum on the left hand paw, so it can move. While being treated with Rustox on the left hind paw, it can move faster than the causticum. So, and again, right hand paw is being treated, so it can again reduce the pain, so that the mouse could be able to traverse more squares in 60 seconds. This is the cut-off time. So with this, we can able to see that causticum is more effective on the right side of our body, and left side is more by the Rustox. Both causticum and Rustox have been potential to reduce the pain in rat adjuvant arthritis. There is another method. It's a very standard international method to measure the pain. It's the inclined floor method. You see, there is an iron reed, the net, and the mouse is being placed on the top with its tail, and on the bottom there is feeding material, bedding material, and some food. So once the mouse, the rat sees its food, it will come down. It sees the bedding material, it will come down. So the more the pain, it will come more slowly, and less the pain, it will move faster to come to the bottom, to food, to have the feed. So this is again the another method of measuring the pain. So this is exactly here. You can see it very quickly comes down, and it took maximum time without any treatment, and well causticum, it has got less, very less in comparison to this, and Rustox and causticum again. So we conclude the experiment that homeopathic potencies have an effect on animals, while causticum is more effective on the right side of the body. Rustox is more on the left. Causticum and Rustox are potential homeopathic medicines in rat adjuvant arthritis. So these are the some few instruments that we have been using, like FTIR, Fourier transforming photometer. This is energy dispersive X-ray spectroscopy. This is UV visible spectrophotometer with the Peltier system here. And this one. So now I come to the clinical part of my lecture. You can see this is a tumor, cystic tumor here, and it's been treated with Calcarea, Arnica, Thuja, and Hypericum, and no more tumor here. Leukoderma, here the patch, white patch, and it's been fading with the medicines like Calcarea, Thuja, Bryonia, Sulfur, Tivotivodum, Roscol. So tumor again here, and you see this tumor has been burst out with giving this Thuja in higher potency. So Arnica, Thuja, Sulfur, Hypericum. This is leukoderma. Again, you can see the fingertips with Calcarea, Nectum Sal, Bryonia. This tumor again of a child. It's still there, but reducing, like Carbo animalis, Heterolava, Basilinum, Arnica, Thuja, Calcarea fluor. It's a case of psoriasis, treating with these medicines. Same one, it's extensive. This is the arthritis with the deformities. You can see, and here you can see the changes. The homeopathic medicines also can see the changes of the bone, where it is already deformed with these medicines, and also of course other medicines. So that one that I showed you, the previous one, the other leg secured. So this is a skin cancer. See here, this patient is still undergoing and doing quite good with this. Thuja, arsenic, euphrasia has got the symptoms only. Alopecia here, with Nuxcom, Marxol, Sulfur, Ciclinum. This is a case of a tumor which was there for the last 12 years. It has been burst out in just 3 months of treatment, and now it is completely gone. Only there is a bit scar was there because of the skin that grew after. And this is the extensive case of leg ulcer. The patient first came with her husband and with a very anxious one in my clinic, and because you can see how degree of lesion and how you see the gigantic leg, it's swollen and highly inflamed The patient could hardly able to walk, and she was advised to amputate her leg. So it was all of anxious moments with some pain and extreme pain because of the ulcer, and you can see that what homeopathy medicine can do here. See, there is slowly normal skins are coming out, and you can see the size of the legs has been reduced a lot. So here you can see the reduction of the skin, and now it is totally gone. And the leg is quite normal size. So if you can compare with the stage 1 and stage 3, you see this is the marvel of homeopathic potencies. Alopecia again. Psoriasis. It's a very common one, but still is here is a multiple fibroid of uterus. And here is the no fibroid, only the retroversion of uterus is there. I happen all doing every day, but still. Now I come to some remarkable cases in my life. So this is what exactly I'm going to start. So as I pointed out that I have been there and the visiting physician in Thailand. So I have been going every 2 months there. Now it has been stopped due to such situation. Now one day I received a call from my ancestor's mother while I was in the meeting with the Chinese embassy. So that her son, who is 28 years old, has been there for 30 days in hospital in Bangkok. So you can imagine a 20-year-old boy is being hospitalized for the last 30 days. So how the situation of how the disease he has been passing through. So what exactly he is passing through is that the SMS syndrome. What is SMS syndrome? Is the superior mesenteric artery syndrome. Now this superior mesenteric artery and the abdominal aorta is being tied up in such a way that there is no that doesn't allow the food or water, whatever, to pass into. So to pass into the stomach. So the ultimate result is the death because of malnutrition. And when I visited him, I saw a boy of 28 years old. He was lying on the bed, and he was just purple in color because he has been undergoing septicemia for the 3rd time. So I was not exactly called for this disease, but I was called for to save him from septicemia, which is for the 3rd time. He was hospitalized in a 5-star hospital in Bangkok, Semi-Tibet, and the doctors there in the Semi-Tibet, they were just surrendering because the 3rd time and septicemia, and their medicines were not responding at all. So there exactly from the homeopathy, or I myself get entry. But this is exactly the SMS syndrome, what he was suffering from. This is the symptoms of SMS syndrome, that you have some abdominal fullness, then bloating, nausea, vomiting. So anorexia, like this cramp-like pains in the abdomen. So these are the factors that can contribute to syndrome, that can prolong waist, weight loss, rapid growth, previous abdominal surgery. So lumbar portion of the spleen curvature is lost when the lordosis. So these can be pancreatitis, peptic ulcer. So these are the some few other diseases which can cause this SMS syndrome. Now you can see this is first he was diagnosed is the colonic stricture, and it was advised for the surgery. So what they did, because he was not able to get any food, there are 4 tubes were inserted One is supplying the lipid, another water, the carbohydrate, and protein. So when I entered into his room, I saw this boy was just having with the several tubes that are passing into her body, and he was with some. You can understand that how exactly the mental situation of his and his family have been undergoing. Now here, on this third diagnosis is being diagnosed as the SMS syndrome. Now here they clearly say that suggestive of SMS syndrome. And he has been started from here since January, and you can see this is in March. So almost just 2.5 months. This patient, here you can see the result, almost complete resolution of duodenal obstruction, normal small bowel transit time. So there is no such obstruction and nothing, but still the patient couldn't able to have the food, solid foods. He was still on the liquids because the intestine, the wall of the intestine was so thin, it's maybe thinner than a piece of paper. So once a solid food, maybe if a rice could enter into the intestine, it could just pierce into and it would come out to the peritoneum, causing peritonitis and ultimately the death. So because of this reason, he was not allowed to give any solid food, only he was in there on the liquids. So these are the medicines that I used is the Naxvon, Thuja, Chelidonium, Lycopodium, Phosphorus, Sulfur, Calichlor, Arsal, Rostrux, and Veratrum album. This is another case from Thailand. He has been suffering from hemiparesis, and she has been also into the hospital when I first visited her, which is another report of her CT brain. And when I first, she suffered that, the stroke, cerebral stroke, when I was here in India. So I gave her medicine over phone, and she started this medicine. And after I think 3 weeks, I went Bangkok in my normal schedule, and I visited her in the hospital. And you can see that almost she is able to raise both the hands, although he was left-sided was affected. Yes, left-sided hemiparesis. So, but you can see she is able to raise with her own. So, with all these medicines for the 3 weeks, she could able to do this, and this much of result have been achieved. See the other. And this is another one. This is something different, but it's a case of dengue. And this patient was almost dying. Everybody around this patient were just counting their minutes that the patient will have his last breath. And I was there, fortunately, when this patient was suffered from dengue. So I went to see the patient. He was in the hospital system, proper hospital system. You can see the platelet here is 216,000. And I was contacted when the platelet came down to 13,000, right? So I started the medicine from here, 13,000, and it came down to 11. Then came down to 5,000 only, the platelets. So the patient, and you see, he is already in a hospital system. So platelet infusion have been properly doing, but just within few minutes the platelet again come down. So even the platelet infusion was not successful because of the system, because of his body doesn't allow to increase or to maintain the same platelet that have been infused. So it's been within after a few minutes they were tested and the tests were such things, so 5,000. And you see the 4,000, the patient is almost going to die now. And I changed the medicine when he was in 5,000, and here comes the miracle. See, it's increasing 5,000, 13,000. Sorry, I'm sorry. It's going up. So you see 5,000, 4,000, and you see the SGPT here 207, 252 SGPT, SGPT 207. So liver also being affected, and you see it's been going rising 31,000. You see 73,000. So rising, and once it rises, it will just take its own course. So this what exactly the homeopathy medicine does. It boosts its own immune system so that the patient can able to survive the way it actually required. See 85,000. So it just goes out, and the patient was survived. So as this we are being experiencing this such a pandemic, so I just able to make some few COVID positive, which they turn negative later on. Although nowadays I've been receiving so many COVID positive patients, but mostly on the phone. Most of them, those who are not even test themselves, even though I advise. So, but with all the symptoms of COVID positive, they are there, and they have been isolated in their home. So this is the way. But homeopathy, as far as as also, I think so many doctors that have been treating COVID positive patients, they know very well that how the homeopathy medicines are responding to it. You see, this is a case of SARS-CoV-2 positive. So all of them till now, not a single person have been died in my hand. So all of them have been survived. So this is another case, SARS-CoV-2 positive. So this one is another. This is you see 83 years old. 83 years old, and he has been my patient, and he has been chronic nephritis, having creatinine is more than 3, but steady. He was having severe pneumonitis, but he survived. Ultimately, he was for 11 days. He was putting in the oxygen, but when they were just leaving out the oxygen pipe, he was having the breathing difficulties. So immediately he was get back into the oxygen again. But with this medicine, with this homeopathic medicine that I prescribed him, he was able to breathe on his own, and slowly the oxygen support has been withdrawn, and he is totally out of danger, and now he is free of COVID. This one another. Well, as COVID patients also, and but I could be able to put it here. So now I conclude my. This is the concluding part of my lecture. Is that how homeopathy or the alternative medicine in the Western part, in the Western world. So this has been the Field Clinic Hospital in Germany. So I was there. I've been invited there to visit their hospital. You can see this is the inside of the Field Clinic, and the roof is a see-through. You can see the plants is here. So normal environment have been created to have to feel the and to feel the less effect of that the patient are there in a hospital. So there is every feel that the patient are there in an environment which they are thought to be. So this is exactly the position of the field clinic. You see, most of them are being situated or located in the hilltop. See here, here's the hilltop, and you can see the lovely and beautiful scenario. Infrastructure-wise, they are quite good and absolutely up to the mark. And this is, you can see the bed, see, and you can see the window. There is no such window. This is not being covered, so you can have every access with the environment, but rather the patients has every access with the environment. So they will feel that every change, and in Europe there are very continuous change, unlike in tropical countries, there is continuous change of weather. So they are able to feel the every change of the weather from time to time. And you can see the corridor here. This is the director Stefan of field clinic. This is the Paracelsus Hospital. This is a very old hospital. I visited there in Germany. You can see the corridor is just a 3-star property, and you can see the infrastructure, and this is the quite absolutely touch with the environment, the changes of the environment that the patients should feel. So they are should not be confined in a wall. So their mind should be very clean, and patient will get out of it soon. This is the infrastructure. Paracelsus, Glasgow Homeopathic Hospital, another old homeopathic college in Glasgow. This is the corridor of Glasgow Homeopathic Hospital. See the beds, and again you can see the environment out. Robert Bosch Hospital in Stuttgart in Germany again. So this is not a homeopathy or alternative medicine hospital, but this is a pure normal full-fledged hospital of Western medicines. But the important is there, I visited there. So importance is there that they have their alternative medicine department. And here comes the alternative medicine department. Integrated medicine. The beds here inside. So they treat, this is the hypothermia, this is the pad of hypothermia, and she's a cancer patient, she's lying on the bed. So they have been treated with the heat pad. So that is another method of alternative medicine. So it's exactly not always with the homeopathy medicines, but alternative medicine of course includes homeopathy medicines. And this is the Baron in Sahni in France that I was invited there to visit how homeopathy medicines are being produced. We have the Baron medicines in India now, and it's been quite popular. See the large, there are the globules there inside in each bag. So with the mother tincture, with the spray, the potency, they have been sprayed there with the globules, and they have been put into the tube and are being sold. So they are the officials from Baron. The Royal London Homeopathy Hospital, now name has been changed to Royal London Hospital for Integrated Medicine in London. So Dr. Brian Kaplan will be there, I think, maybe tomorrow. So I was there with him, I met with him there, and I attended one class, clinical class of Dr. Brian Kaplan. He was heading the team of doctors, so I was one of the doctor treating a patient there, consisting of 6 doctors. So that is there in the OPD. So this is exactly on the chairs. I think Brian was sitting here and the patient was here and we are here. So because of the privacy policy, we are not allowed to take the photo of the patients. And you can see the consultation room is so simple, not complicated at all. And there, the style of seeing the patient, checking the patient is that they check the patient for at least 2 hours. So they can get every mental symptoms out of the patient to get noted and to select the correct remedy. So this is the book that my respected father, Professor Sukul, he authored this book with purely research, high dilution pharmacology and homeopathy. This is another book I have been co-authored with him, High Dilution Effects, Physical and Biochemical Basis, published by two academic professionals from Netherlands. And this book was so popular that it has been translated into Italian version from Salus Informa. I'm sorry. So this was the same book being translated into Italian. This is a recent book that I was one of the co-authors. Transdisciplinarity and Translationality in High Dilution Research, published by Cambridge College Publishing in 2019, only last year. So we have been collaborators, natural practices. We are offering the Sukul Institute offers the courses, online courses. We publish clinical and experimental homeopathy. I urge you all, to all the listeners, viewers, to please submit their valuable papers to this journal for consideration. And this journal has been indexed to such indexing authorities. And this is the World Congress, second World Congress that Sukul Institute hosted in Bangkok in November 2019. It was a very successful World Congress, and Dr. Sahni was kindly consented to him and he was present there. 22 countries have been participated in this World Congress. And this is the best way to pay homage to this great man, Honeyman. This is the cemetery of Honeyman in Paris. And I am really thankful to all of you, to all the other listeners for your patience here. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Sukul. You have just demonstrated the remarkable effects of biological effects of the homeopathic medicines. I think this is going to prove the efficacy and bring confidence in the youngsters. This type of the research is very much required, as well as the clinical practice that we have demonstrated. The results were so miraculous. It is wonderful for all to follow. And on this day, when we are celebrating, when we are paying tribute to a researcher, this is one of the best tribute that we can have through your presentations. So thank you, Dr. Sukul.
Thank you, sir.
We shall be coming back again with you from the live chats after the presentation of the next speaker. And till then, I will request you to stay here so that we can have the question and answer.
Yes.
Now coming to the next speaker, Dr. Sanjiv, you are here the house?
Yes.
Yeah, so you can
So my presentation is not there, no, so it is uploaded now.
You'll get the
Sir, wait, I have it. Wait, sir.
Yes, it is there, yeah.
Okay. So, Dr. Sanjiv, you have, yeah. Now, our next speaker and the last speaker, but not the least speaker, is Dr. Sanjeev Kumar Singh. You know, well known, he is associated with me, and right from his childhood till date. and he has completed his DHMS followed by the graded BHMS in 2005, and he completed his MD degree also from the Bihar University in the year of 2011. And presently he is doing his associate professor in the Department of Repertory at GD Memorial Homeopathic Medical College. Dr. Sanjiv has got a very good learning aptitude, so he has completed his postgraduate diploma course in hospital management and homeopathic management from the Symbiosis University also. It is a clinical experience was associated with me, and with the sincere devotion, he became the managing director for our institute, Research Institute of Sani Drug Transmission and Homeopathy. And his clinical ability with repertory outstanding as he started beginning his practice through the repertory. One of the remarkable things that you can notice in him that he don't know how to give the medicines only to the patient. Only the placebo, there is no timing required, but he is transmitting the medicines. He was born in transmission system of the medicines, and he's transmitting the medicines throughout his career. We are proud of him, and I feel that he has got great future ahead. He is also involved in homeopathic journalism, and he is the managing editor for our homeopathic Homeotarang, and both in Hindi and English. Now we are making a peer-reviewed journal. His approach to homeopathy is getting recognized with his presentations at various seminars. He has visited Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Nepal as delegates and presented his paper, and he very actively engaged in the social networking of the professions and served General Secretary of the Homeopathic Medical Association of India from the Bihar State branch, and presently he is the treasurer at the HMI. Dr. Sanjeev is very popular among his students for his presentations and the students flock around him, not because of his lovely face, but because of his knowledge also. So with this brief introductions, now Sanjiv, you start your presentation so that we can.
Yes, sir.
His topic is he's going to tell us about the contribution of Dr. B. Sahni, because he lived with Dr. B. Sahni for a long time.
Yes, sir. Yes, Dr. Yasika, my presentation, please upload there. Yes. So first of all, I would like to thanks to Dr. Sahni sir, my guru and guardian, and what he told about me, credit goes to him only. What I am today in the field of homeopathy, a great role he had, and still I'm learning from him. And every day, almost every day, we are in contact with each other and discussing with the about the homeopathic and homeopathic subject and medicines, disease, everything. So thanks a lot to Dr. Sahni sir, and thanks to all the participants. Respected chairperson of this webinar, Dr. Cheramannan sir, co-chairman Dr. Jeetendra Kumar, esteemed speaker of today's Dr. Marion-Kellner from Germany, and Dr. Anirban Sukul from Kolkata. My subject is contribution of Dr. B. Sahni. What to say about B. Sahni? I can say I feel fortunate that around 5 years I worked with him also, and what I have learned from him, I can't express. A great role, I can say, a great role in learning the homeopathy. And what Dr. Sahni told about me, that I started learning from the repertory. The first book was in my hand was the repertory, the Kent repertory. And Dr. B. Sahni told me, if you want to be a good homeopath, you start learning the mind and mental symptoms of the repertory of the patient. Definitely you will become a good homeopath. And I did that. I don't know I'm a good homeopath or not, but I did that. And what about the contribution of Dr. Sahni? Just I'm going through that. Life lived with purpose. Yes, without purpose, purposeless life, we all understand what happened if we are moving in our repertoire, the traveling desire and wandering. So one thing is the traveling desire is with the purpose. If you are traveling with the purpose, it comes under the traveling desire. And if you are moving without purpose, it comes under the wandering. So being a human, the purpose of life is very, very important. So living on purpose means becoming aware of who we are and what we bring in, to life each day. The world of work and life has changed dramatically. It is every time to explore and embrace new trends. Of course, Dr. Bandhu Sani has shown the path. Man who is born helpless can create his own path. Of course, a gifted mind, by the nature. Man, the most helpless creature on this earth is the man. But because of this gifted mind, we become more powerful, the most powerful on this earth. So born in most poorest part of the society, Dr. Sani has demonstrated that the time and opportunity can be created. Live your life on purpose. Dr. Sani has proved that learning is the way of life. Yes, knowledge is the power. Of course, we used to talk about the confidence. We used to talk about the power. If you have the knowledge, you are confident. If you have the knowledge, you are powerful. Everything of this universe can be realized with determination, with patience and perseverance. A very nice quotation is there. Great work are performed not by strength, but by perseverance. And yes, perseverance comes from the patience. So if you have the patience, definitely you will perceive the things, you will achieve the goal, what you have in your mind, you can. So the patience is very important. Dr. Sani has proved that simplicity counts. Of course, beauty lies in simplicity. Only knowledge stored within life are the greatest simplicity with beauty of life. And it has been explained very nicely by Swami Vivekananda. Purity, patience, and perseverance are three essential to success. And above all, the love. It's very, very important. When we talk about the love, it's a very pure thing. We have the rubrics in our repertoire also. Love, sick. So when we talk about the love, the simplicity and purity, it's very, very important. Dr. Bandhu Sani has proved love is great. Team is created with love and support. We have to start our journey of our own. Yes, if you want to do something, a bigger thing, then definitely you will have to create a team. And to create a team, the knowledge and love and the purity, it's very essential things. Dr. Sani believed in his confidence. Criticism from others are inevitable. If we believe in ourselves, we will be recognized and followers join. Ekla Chalo Re by Rabindranath Tagore. Yes, I have remembered one of our doctor was there in Kolkata, Dr. Gaurinath Mukherjee, and he had very nicely told about this Ekla Chalo Re. He was talking to Dr. Sahni. I was also there, and he said, when you invent something new, and when you start doing something new, first thing happened that the society opposed that things. But still, if you are having the confidence that I have to do this, you are not going to distracted by the opposition from the society, then they start watching to you. And finally, they start following yourself. So Dr. Bandhu Sani did the same thing. He did not get distracted what he was doing. And finally, he got the success and this transmission came in existence. Dr. Bandhu Sani has proved every individual has the capability to contribute. From the perspective of life, we have only one purpose to contribute. Only gain we get is being remembered by the generation. Yes, we as a human being, the purpose, we started with the purpose. So purpose is not to gain only, to contribute. This is the greatest purpose of a life of a human being. So the contribution to the society, to the humanity, definitely should be there in one's life. Then only you will be recognized. One student was asking to me how to be the best. So I said, if you want to be the best, you start thinking best to everyone. Definitely you will be the best. So this is the purpose, to contribute. Whatever you are hearing, whatever you are learning from the students, from the junior, don't criticize, just to contribute, just to add. What is the lacking of there? No, so try to add and try to contribute. So this was the thought of Dr. Bandhu Sahni. Dr. Bandhu Sahni has applied philosophy to understand his purpose of his life. Applied philosophy purpose, where we have to live. One have to adopt for own way of life towards applied philosophy. Dr. Sani has proved living in adversity. Yes. Adopting homeopathy in spite of his different background speaks of the magnitude of opportunity for change in life, utilizing life to serve for the mankind. Yes, adversity, standing in adversity, living in adversity. It's just like Pulsatilla, no, the adverse situation. And in spite of that, in that adverse situations, Pulsatilla try to maintain their identity, try to maintain their livelihood, everything. So in adversity, if you are working, if you are trying to do something new, no, definitely it works. So Dr. Sahni has proved enjoying work like music. Yes, when we talk about the music, as a homeopath, the first thing come in our mind is the repertory, because the repertory, the meaning of repertory has come from the repertoire, and it simply means it's simply related with the music. So he enjoyed homeopathic work like music. Practicing homeopathy with repertory is like living with the music. Of course, if you are working with repertory, definitely you will feel like that. This is my personal experience too, that I feel very good when when I work with the repertory, when I work with the rubrics, when I work with the symptomatology. You will astonish that reading the faces, reading the gestures of the patients. So harmony of profession lies in tuning oneself with work, and it's a fine tuning. When you select a single remedy, it's like finding the tuning, and you get a very good music. Dr. Bandhu Sahni has proved adherence to the principle, life dedicated to the law of similia similibus curantur. No compromise at the cost of principle. Yes. And Stephen Covey says that there are three constants in life: change, choice, and principle. And of course, once you change the principle, there is so many ways, but definitely you are going to deviate from the motto. You are going to deviate from your goal. So the principle should not be changed. The principle of homeopathy, we as a homeopath should not think about changing the principle. And the principle of homeopathy, we all know about that, the similia similibus curantur. Dr. Sahni never thought like that I should change the principle. What he has created, what he has done, what he has invented, I can say it's a one step ahead of the principle of, or the invention of Dr. Samuel Hahnemann. Dr. Sahni has proved infallible law, the similia similibus curantur, nature's law of cure, nature of human life expanded from invisible to visible. If you want to change the visible, first change the invisible. Of course, Dr. Bandhu Sahni has proved patience is power. Patience is not an absence of actions. Rather, it is timing. It waits on the right time to act for the right principles, and in the right way. Patience is bitter, but its fruits is sweet. With patience, you can bear up under any adversity and survive any defeat. Patience is power. You can see the photographs, it had been clearly depicting, the patience is power. And I have remember in old clinic of Dr. Sahni, on the gate, it was written there, the patience is prayer. And we used to talk about that, and we used to tell to the patient also that you have the patience, definitely you are going to be cured. And same thing I would like to say to the young generation of the homeopathy, that you should have the patience. Why I'm telling? Because I have seen a very what I can say, the students, those who have passed second year or third year, they start thinking about opening the clinic. They start thinking about having associated with someone and start to earn the money. It should not be like that. We should have the patience. Then only we can achieve the goal. We can learn the right thing, learn the homeopathy properly. So the patience is like a prayer, and patience will give you the power. And these things I learned from Dr. Bandhu Sahni. Dr. Bandhu Sahni has lived as summum bonum of life, an ultimate end or goal, a summum bonum at which all human action is directed. Like Aristotle, he conceived of this end as necessarily connected with happiness. Live in line without your higher good. Dr. Bandhu Sahni had proved homeopathic medicine are beyond material. The art of medicine lies in knowing what is essential and what is minutia, what is single and what is noise, what is trend and what is wiggle. Dilution of homeopathic medicine leads towards infinity, infinite power. Yes, we all are, since last, yesterday, we are talking about space, dynamicity, and our homeopathy era moves around this dynamicity, infinite power. When we talk about the vital principle, when we talk about the dynamic nature of the homeopathic medicines, this the homeopathic medicines, the dynamic, and he proved, Dr. Bandhu Sahni proved, this is really dynamic. Why? Because it can be transmitted from a distance. And nowadays, with this advancement of technology, we can feel, we can experience the dynamicity in everywhere, in every field of our life. So in homeopathy also, this dynamicity is very much prevalent, and we all should think about this, the dynamicity of the homeopathy. Dr. Sahni has discovered to transmit dynamic medicine from a distance. Yes, this is the main thing which has been given a gift by Dr. B. Sahni to the homeopathic fraternity. The transmission of dynamic homeopathic medicine through a distance. Dr. Sahni added a new dimension to the mode of application of dynamic medicine property of homeopathy by applying them from a distance by using the natural belonging of the patients. And as a natural belonging, we are using hair of the patient. You can use any natural belonging, but hair is very convenient. That's why we are using the hair. With varied experimentation on thousands of patients of various category, it is now proved beyond doubts that dynamic medicine of homeopathy can be transmitted from a distance. And nowadays, it is not a puzzle like the things. So many patients, thousands and thousands of patients are getting benefited, and so many doctors, they have adopted this mode of administrations in all over the country. Even from outside the country, from all over the globe, we are treating the patient with this mode of administration of the medicine. Dr. Bandhu Sahni became a legend in the field of medicine. Contribution of Dr. Sahni in the field of medicine is fundamental and advanced. Dr. Sahni is among the few pioneers who had become an independent field of medicine. Dr. Sahni had proved life is a journey of research. Yes, every steps we moved forward needs to become aware. Research are integrated part of life. Yes. What is the research? Research is nothing. Only the awareness bring us to the research. The apple was falling before the Newton also. But what did Newton? Newton was aware of the surroundings. Newton was aware where he was seated, and he established a principle. So the awareness is very, very important. If you are aware, then definitely you can do anything. You can do new thing. You can do research. So Dr. Sahni was also very much aware. We all go through the literature of homeopathy. We all have gone through the principle of homeopathy, like the organon of medicine. We all gone through the dynamism of homeopathy. But only Dr. B. Sahni, why he thought? Because he was aware what he is reading, what he is doing. He was aware of that. So finally, he researched this method, transmission of dynamic medicine through the hair or from the distance. Dr. Sahni has proved potentiality of further researches. Yes, with this system of medicines, more the opportunity of more researches are there. Many new potential questions arises for future for research with Dr. Sahni's discovery. It helped furtherance of medical science and art. Yes, we used to face the questions, no, that how it works and how I can claim that our medicine is going transmitted to the patients, no. So many questions are there. But being a homeopath, I can say only that it's a matter of research. So I appeal those people, those who are working on this dynamic and quantum particles, no, they should come forward and try to do the research that how this homeopathic medicine can be transmitted and are getting transmitted. So it's a matter of research. Dr. Sahni has proved a research in crisis. Yes, it has been told by so many people that the crisis give birth to the research, and Dr. Sahni has proved, because I know very well the background of Dr. Bandhu Sahni and Dr. M.K. Sahni sir. So Dr. Sahni proved crises are the seeds for research. I have also visited the village of Dr. Bandhu Sahni. Really, it was like that. The crisis I have seen. One get ignited to find out new meaning for life, and from that particular situations, reaching to this particular situation. It's very, very important. It's a very, I can say, it's a very impressive, and we should learn from this type of the personality that how to do something new and how to give to the society, how to contribute to the society. Dr. Sahni has proved transparent purity finds eternality. Dr. Sahni got himself imprinted into history. It was his transparent and purity of life which get diffused with nature. Yes. Dr. Bandhu Sahni has proved guide to show the path to take away the pains. Teachers are always ready to support their students. Readiness for sharing information. Yes. Just I was hearing our first speaker from the Germany, and Dr. Jessica gave remarks. No, yes, I'm just, you gave a very good remarks that very few doctors are there who are ready to give the information, who are ready to share their knowledge. Dr. Sahni was also like that, and what she did, the same thing. So it's a very good thing, and these things also I have learned from Dr. Bandhu Sahni. The way you share your knowledge, and you discuss with your students or with the doctors, you get more and more knowledge. So sharing the knowledge, it's very important for the learning, and these things I learned from Dr. B. Sahni. Dr. Bandhu Sahni has proved cosmopolitan nature has the very good understanding for the anthropology. Man, a social animal, are above caste, color, or creed. Widely traveled person, Dr. Sahni was cosmopolitan in nature. Yes, I have seen and I have experience, his nature also, the cosmopolitan nature. He has visited so many countries, European country, America, and so many places. And I have heard so many stories also. So he was a very affectionate type of the person, very caring type of the person. So, and we have the rubrics when he was getting some problem, and we used to talk about him, that we should try to find out the rubrics. We should try to include the rubrics. Care and worry, we have the rubrics in our repertory, elements from care and worry. So whenever we talk about the medicine for Dr. B. Sahni with Dr. M.K. Sahni, so we used to talk about this particular rubrics, care, elements from care and worry, and magnetized desire to be. So these two rubrics was very important for Dr. Bandhu Sahni. Dr. Bandhu Sahni never compromised with philosophy of his life. Dr. Sahni proved that one can find his own path with determination, highest purpose of living. A compromise is an agreement whereby both parties get what neither of them wanted. So, Doctor, what I said, that the can find his own path with determination. So determination is also very important. If you are determined that what you have to do, then definitely you are going to achieve the things. Dr. Sahni has proved action which is regulated and which is performed without attachment. Dr. Sahni has loved everyone without lust of receiving rewards. He proved he benefited most who serves most. The root of suffering is attachment. Yes, of course. We all know how much you are attached, that much you are going to get affected. So when we talk about the grief or mental shock, those who are very much associated or emotionally attached, they get more grief, they get more sorrow. So Dr. Sahni was not like that. And because he was contributing, he was ready to give to the society. So there was no lust. And how much oppose he had faced when he started working on this transmission method. I had experience, and I have heard also when he was going to present the paper in the seminar and all. But in spite of that, all the difficulties, he crossed and proved himself that what I am doing, it's a truth, and what I am doing, it's a right thing. Dr. Bandhu Sahni has proved heart of a mother, caring nature. Just I was talking about that. The caring nature are like nurturing the universe. A heart filled with cares and worries connects the universe. Yes, the heart of a mother is a deep abyss at the bottom of which you will always find forgiveness. Yes, I have remembered. I used to come to Dr. Sahni's clinic, and when I go back to my home, while going back, every day he used to tell me, when you reach there, just give me a call that you reached safely. This much caring was there. So that's why I was talking about cares and worries. This was very important for Dr. Sahni, Bandhu Sahni, and I learned this from him only. Dr. Bandhu Sahni has proved setting a message of freedom from medicine. Let the doctor take care. More time to serve. Yes, freedom from the medicine. If we are talking about the homeopathy, this homeopathy is also provoked that the freedom from the medicine. If we are talking about one medicine, single medicine, it's just like freedom from the medicine. And Dr. Sahni, if we are talking about Dr. Bandhu Sahni, even single medicine you don't have to take. You will have to talk to the doctors only. You don't have to take the medicine. That's why we used to say that the freedom from the medicine. Dr. Sahni has proved systematic investigations. Research means a systematic investigation designed to develop or establish principle, facts, generalizable knowledge, or any combination of them, and includes the development, testing, and evaluation of research. Know what you don't know. This is very important. Know what you don't know. Yes. What we don't know, we should try to know that. What we know, it's not a matter of a very serious thing that we should try to find out what we know. What we don't know, it's a matter try to find out. Dr. Sani proved life is totality. Life wants to live in total alignment with true love, passion, and integrity. The total destruction of falsehood allows authentic creative flow to happen. The totality of life means the consciousness and awareness. Yes, we have already talked about the awareness and consciousness. If you are aware the things happening around you, definitely you are going to give a purposeful life. If you are not aware, it becomes very difficult for you what you are going to do and what you are living a life. So the consciousness and awareness, it's a very, very important. And finally, I would like to say, just before starting this session, I got a mail from Dr. Jessica Arora, and thanks to Dr. Jessica, I gone through your mail and I got a very good quotation over there. Work hard in silence, let success be your noise. So exactly Dr. Sahni did the same thing. He worked very hard and silently, and now I can say this mode of administration, the research of Dr. Bandhu Sahni become a noise. And I think all over the globe, people are aware with this invention of Dr. Bandhu Sahni. So thank you so much giving me this opportunity. Especially special thanks to team of Homeopathy 360, Dr. Jessica Arora and Mr. Manish Jain for giving me this opportunity. And I'm very much fortunate that I'm talking about Dr. Bandhu Sahni. I'm a very, what I can say, very small, but I got an opportunity to say about or talk about Dr. Bandhu Sahni. So thank you so much to all of you and all the participants. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sanjeev, for your very emotional and intellectuals both combined together. So I said it is that emotional intelligence we have imbibed the spirit from Dr. Sahni. And definitely life is a journey, and definitely this is going to be the learning process every time. So now we have come to the concluding part of this session. Let us see we have any questions for the Dr. Sukul and Dr. Sanjiv or not in the chat box.
Sir, there are no questions in the chat box. Yes, only one question from Dr. Tom. Two questions, in fact. Can you, I think this question is for Sukul sir, Dr. Anirban Sukul sir. Can you suggest treatment of cervical pain in the neck, left side and right sided?
Can you please repeat the question, Dr. Jessica?
Treatment of cervical pain in the neck, left side or right sided?
Cervical pain on the neck is causticum is there. If it is with vertigo or reeling, conium is there. Syphilinum is there. If it is the night aggravation, so it all depends on the X-ray is there. So it all depends on the situation. I mean, depending on the symptoms. I think these four are quite good. So based on the symptoms, one can use this out of four.
Thank you, sir. One more question from Dr. Neetu. Any medicines you want to suggest which could help in the cases of psoriasis?
Psoriasis for is the sulfur, Staphysagrina, X-ray, Basilinum, Tuberculinum, Thuja. So they are on the top line. I mean, they can cure. They have the power of cure psoriasis. Calcarea also, Natramine also.
Thank you so much, sir. I would request the audience to please type your queries if you still have any queries from Dr. Sani sir, Dr. Sanjiv sir, and Dr. Anirban Sukul sir. By the time, sir, can we request our chairperson and co-chairperson if they want to comment something? Sani sir?
Yeah, I invite Dr. Chairman sir is here in the room, and I think Dr. Jeetendra ji has left. So on behalf of Dr.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Dr. Cheramannan, sir, you may have your message now. Dr. Cheramannan, sir, you are audible? Are you able to listen to me?
Sir, your audio is off, Cheramannan sir. Please on your audio and then you can start. Your audio.
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So actually, it is a nice time. Actually, we have started at around 1 o'clock and it is ended 4 o'clock. Actually, it is a nice journey which I take it. Because the first that ma'am explained about that woman, that is the, what about that topic is the hurt of the woman. Actually, it is a nice topic. Actually, being we give the medicine to the woman, first we can educate the males in these aspects. Because we already know about that, even though we are very much cautious. But these things are repeated, irrespective of the countries. Like the German ma'am told, and also India, it is also like that one. So we should give the, or we just to give the, still the awareness is must be needed. Because even though the country is developed so many things, because when you think that developed countries are there, but what is the use to say these are the developed countries when they are hurt the females? It is my personal opinion. Because we can declare that the developed countries are there, we are so much developed in arms and everything. But when we see that these things, it is very much what is called, it is a very much drawback to the males. Because we already know that we always born from the a female only, but the traumatized woman, the topic itself explained, it is mostly sexually abused. But one thing when madam narrated that one condition, in that condition she told that female or that lady being that is weakened by or sexual abuse by father and relations. These things are happened. Okay, so these things are happened. So we can have the homeopathic medicine. There is no doubt in it. Because madam also divided the acute case and the chronic case. In the acute case, madam suggests aconite and opium, and the chronic case also ma'am suggests natrum mute. So by the medicine only, whether we think we can give the relief, no, it's not at all. Because Anirban, in his case taking also, Anirban explained these things. Okay, because some obvious cause is there, we should inquire about that all. Otherwise, Anirban told there is a disgraceful character like that one. So the case taking must be needed. Definitely, we will give the good thing to all, but the government or we are also what we educate to others, but we should educate ourselves in this aspect, because all are being a human being. So because it is already we can say in one word that it is also due to the hormonal imbalance. No, that is we must educate others. Before they educate to others, we must educate ourselves. So only the conditions become cured. Because the madam told there is the symbiosis trauma. That is the madam used the word. There is a symbiosis trauma. Actually, it is the relationship between the two different species. So that and another one is their ambience. Okay. So mixed feelings with the emotions. So we should get educated. Actually, I am very much thankful to Homeopathy 360 for calling that ma'am, because she is a nice person to explain all these things. So next I just explained about the Dr. Anirban Sukul sir about the biological effect of ultra low doses known remedy. It is because just start with the lower animals. Actually, when compared with the human being, it is my opinion. Don't mistake me. When you compare with the effect of the medicine in our lower animals, it is better than the higher animals, that is ourselves. Because the lower animals, we can say, okay, there is no mental alienation is there. Everything is become the normal. That is there because they are having only 5 senses. Only we have the 6th sense. So, Sir nicely explained the effect of the medicine in the rat and mice, and also he beautifully explained so many cases by a single sheet. Okay, Mostly it is not like that one. Mostly when we say a patient has the age like that one and they have the tumor like that one, then they spend 2 or 3 pages for that one. Okay, sir nicely doing that one because he nicely explained in one sheet, this is the medicine which I give, because he only experiences. Because what we have the experience is not at all possible or explain the same thing to others. Okay, so here it is a very nice explanation by the sir. And also when somebody has asked about the question, sir is automatically explain these are the medicines. Okay, because even though we are selecting the medicine for the similarity, but we studied about the therapeutics in the separate subject. No, so nicely it is a very nice time for me to associate with you people. And also the last but not least, sir also explained about the Dr. Sanjiv Kumar sir, because he just turned what are the things Dr. B. Sagan. Okay, even though we are a homeopath, we should follow him, because that is B. Sagani and M.K. Sagani. Just I learned many things from the M.K. Sagani sir, because how he has that very passions and also very much what is called very much attractive by others. Okay, because I am in the Tamil Nadu, but in Tamil Nadu all the people are know him. So likewise all the other states, that is irrespective of what we say, it is irrespective of the state, irrespective of the politics, irrespective of all the things, stand first. So yes, I thought how it is possible. I think he learned from his father. But we don't know about his father. But I am very much thankful to Dr. Sanjeev Kumar sir for explaining about the term. And also I am very much thankful to Homeopathy 360 for arranging this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Chairman. You are such an affectionate person to us. And we have come to the close of this today's webinar. There is an announcement for tomorrow. A slight change, because Dr. Joel from Philippines, who was supposed to be present tomorrow, he is not available. So he will be presenting day after tomorrow on 31st. And on his place, we are putting the 31st two presenters tomorrow, like Dr. Surendra Vikram Goswami and Dr. Krishna Murari. They have agreed to deliver their lecture tomorrow itself. So this is slight change for the tomorrow program. And Dr. Joel Abernas is a wonderful person. I had a talk this morning with him over the messenger, and he conveyed his gratefulness to us and Dr. Sukul also, because he is a friend of Dr. Sukul, and he came. He has a very good talk with him today. So tomorrow we will be listening Dr. Bipin Jain, and the contributions further the research, what Dr. Research actual work we will be discussing on, and the clinical evidences from Dr. Surendra Vikram Goswami and Dr. Krishna Murari in the palliative cases. So this is for the tomorrow program. And what I feel, I'm sitting before you all and traveling into the memory lane, down memory lane. I am reminded of my past days, living with my father, and today I feel that he is here with us and helping us, and with his blessings, this webinar is going to be the most satisfying moment for me, especially. I say me, it is a very satisfying moment for me. And with these words, I only have to express my thanks to you all. Thanks to Mr. Manish Jain, very, very polite persons I have met. And he's the director at the Bijan groups of company, looking after the books, publications, and webinar, constantly working day and night. And Dr. Yashika Arora, she is also a wonderful lady, I think. And sometimes I see she is a student, sometimes I say, no, she is a mother for me, because she is guiding, she is helping, and everything she is doing like that. So she has become a good part of our life, and I wish that God bless all of you, I say all of you, to have a more better future along with the homeopathy. What I say about homeopathy, that I have lived this year along with the homeopathy, and I feel I am not complete, because and I need one more generation, one more life to be with the homeopathy. So if God permits, if I am reborn again, let me born as a homeopath next time also, in the next life also. So with these words, I conclude this session, and I request Yasika ji to say the for this program. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for such a nice explanation, as well as guiding everybody about tomorrow's webinar also. And thank you so much, sir, for the compliment. I am so glad that I have this privilege to be a part of your family or your life. So it is actually overwhelming for me for being with you as a guide, I would say, because I am lucky actually at such a small age. I am able to get guidance and everything from such big homeopaths who are actually an inspiration for all the homeopathic fraternity. So thank you so much. And I want to request, sir, there is a question from Dr. Utpal. If we have time, we can discuss. We have only 5 minutes, I think, left. But if we can discuss one question, I think this is for you only, for the hair transmission thing. Female aged 41 years suffering from pre-auricular sinus, hot patient, fear of cancer as her mother died from cancer, vaginal itching for long time, aggravated by aggravated by hot and fair complexion. What can be thought as a simillimum remedy, or how to deal with the case? Can you please suggest, sir?
Dr. Sanjiv, can you make some suggestions here now?
Yes. It's difficult to say that medicine, but I can rubric that and learn from MK Sahni and Dr. B that we should not suggest the medicine in this type of the situations. No, but rubrics I can suggest. We can go for some of it. I have already tried. Of cancer is there, and the family history cancer is there. Then so all together and coming chromium we can for one bit say
Sir, there is some connectivity issue, I think, on your end.
So there.
Sir, your voice is cracked. He left. There was some connectivity issue. I request Dr. Utpal to wait a second. I think sir will join us back and then he'll answer. By the time, I request you to please put the queries in the chat box if still there any queries left. Sir, Sani sir, you want to say something before we wind up the session?
Now that session is complete, there are a lot of the things to share, but definitely we will be having more session tomorrow. So I feel that it is the time to conclude now and come back again tomorrow. So I request all be with us tomorrow and day after tomorrow, because it is the greatest opportunity that we are trying to blend everything together. This is important for us. Dr. Sanjeev, will you be able to complete that your message now? What you wanted
Yes.
to talk, that will it be possible to complete now?
Yes.
Your voice
I think already completed. Suggested 5
is about the more
and all
symptoms.
to medicine is calcaria.
Sir, please turn off your video and then try to speak once.
Yes.
close your video and then talk, sir. Dr. Sanjiv, you close your video,
Yes, sir.
and then you may be able to talk. Now you speak. Okay. So I think it is time to.
Sir, please talk, Sanjeev sir. Putting your video off, you can tell the rubrics.
Yes. Now I'm
Yeah, problem. I think your area is
audible.
Yes, sir. थोड़ा सा track आ रही है voice. You can type in the chat box for the rubrics. It's all right. And I request the audience to please come join us tomorrow at 1 o'clock again with new speakers. So thank you so much. Thank you, Anirban, Sukul sir, and thank you, Cheramannan sir, for being with us today. I want to thank Dr. Jeetendra sir and Dr. Kellner ma'am also for being with us today and guiding the audience so well. Thank you, all of you. And I want to thank audience also for your patient listening and being with us since 1 p.m. Thank you all. So can we end? Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you. The rubrics, Dr. Utpal, you can mail us and we'll be able to answer. I think Dr. Sanjeev will also put in the chat box by the time. Thank you so much, everyone.